Chelsea gives one big push, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, it's probably gonna be another like 10 or 15. Whew, I'm gonna get ready, because this is happening really soon. He's gonna be here within 15 minutes. And I was like, Chelsea, just lean back and pick up your baby. And I'm like,
hey guys, it's been a bit. It's been a few weeks. We needed some time to kind of get adjusted to newborn life, and we still are getting adjusted to newborn life.
Yeah.
Like very heavy in the thick of it. I'm surprised that this is honestly even happening right now.
we've been trying to do this video for what, 2 weeks? About 2 weeks now?
Yep. You know, he'll cry, or we are trying to get him down for a nap and he just stares at the wall because he's so enamored with everything. It's crazy. Like, babies are a different breed, literally.
Yeah.
If you're new here, my name is Chelsea.
I'm Nick.
And we are married, and we've been married for close to 3 years?
3? No, not close to, but just over 2.
Just over 2.
We're working on year 3.
Yeah, and we just had a baby, so if you haven't seen the birth vlog of us having our whole birth experience in our home, then you can go watch that.
We'll tag it right here.
Yeah, we'll mention it there. We just kind of wanted to break it down for those who've had a lot of questions, because in birth vlogs you only just get to see kind of what the experience is, but you don't get to hear like what was actually going on and the things that happened. And one of the biggest requests that we got was for Nick to share his perspective as a husband, as a partner who's trying to help his wife go through labor. So we're gonna share that, and hopefully you can share some things. I'll probably learn new things about that day, because we haven't really talked about it, so we wanted to save it for this video.
Story time, here we go. We go to bed, it's July 11th, the year of our Lord 2021.
Yep.
And we're going to sleep. It's kind of normal. We know that any day can be the day at this point, because you had been having Braxton Hicks contractions
for a long time.
And so the night before we had dinner, and then we went out about a little bit from here, not too far. There is a track, and so we just go and we start walking on the track in our local area here, and we end up doing about 3 laps, which is about 3/4 of a mile. Yeah, and we decided that was enough, and so we get in the car and we come back.
Well, I think you wanted to stop at one point, and I go, Nick, no, I really want this baby to get out.
Yeah, I wanted to stop at a half mile.
Yeah, and so we just did another lap, and we were FaceTiming friends, kind of. It's funny how all this stuff happened right before, but we FaceTime our family and our friends Josh and Savannah, who are also pregnant. Just several people that we never really talked to like super regularly. As we were walking, I definitely felt like he was very low. He had already dropped.
We had called my parents, and my mom was like, let me see Chelsea's belly. And so, you know, I turn the camera around on FaceTime and I show it to her, and she says, woo, that baby is low.
Yeah, which it's funny because I put up something on Instagram and everybody's like, no, he hasn't dropped yet. And I'm like, okay.
All these people that have never had a kid.
That night we go to bed as usual, and I'm woken up by just like cramping at 4:30 in the morning. This whole time I'm telling myself, I've been in a birth class for several weeks. We did a 6-week birth class, and everybody else was like, I have a feeling I'm gonna go early. I just feel like I'm gonna go early. And so many people either went on their due date or went past. And I was like, watch me to be that person that goes to 42, 43 weeks.
Yeah, we thought you were going to go to 41.
Yeah, at least. I guess.
Should have been 39 weeks in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hadn't gone to full term. This was the day I woke up at 4:30, had really weird, tight cramps that felt different than Braxton Hicks. I felt like my uterus was like really strong at this point because I was constantly contracting. But this was like painful. Braxton Hicks was just uncomfortable. They started getting more intense, closer together. I started timing them because I was like, could this be it? But then I was like, no, definitely not, because I wouldn't go early. There's no way. And then at probably 6:37, I nudged Nick and I go, I could be in labor, but I'm not sure. I'm just gonna go take a bath, see if it slows down. And he's like, all right, well, wake me up.
Well, at this point, you had been taking, 2-3 baths a day. And so I thought it was just...
Well, yeah, but never this early in the morning.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I was up very early, and I went in there. They slowed down for maybe 15 minutes, and then they continued the same pace. I probably have the log in my phone. I could probably put it up here of the actual contractions and stuff. And I finally decided to message my doula, Julie. She's awesome. And I just said, hey, I've gone to the bathroom 3 times tonight, and it's been number 2. I never do that. I never go to the bathroom at night, really, except for pee because pregnancy. So that on top of all the contractions, but I was just like, this could just be early labor. I could be having, 2 more weeks of this. I was just really psyching myself out, just thinking that this wasn't it. And she was like, okay, well, just give it an hour. Tell me if it continues to get more intense or if it slows down, just let me know. So I message her an hour later. I wake up Nick and I go, this is definitely something more serious.
It's the real deal.
And I was like, Nick, if I'm going into labor today, I don't have anything to wear. I want to record this experience because I want to look back on it. I don't want to be completely naked in front of everybody. You have to go to Target. And so he ran to Target. And what'd you do at Target? You were like,
well, I got in there and I have no idea what I'm even looking for. And so I find this woman and Chelsea sends me a screenshot of what she wants. And I said, hey, do you have this? She ends up looking it up on her little handheld thing. And she says, no, but there's one across town. And
he's like, what time for
I'm
that?
like, I don't have time for going across town. So I go and I'm looking at all these other little things. And I end up finding a couple different things at work. And in the meantime, I'm FaceTiming Chelsea. She's standing right here in the kitchen and I'm in Target across town, and she's hitting mute because I'm in the store around a bunch of people, and she's letting out these wails. Yeah, she's like wailing from the top of her lungs at these contractions that she's having. And so I'm seeing just the top because she has her phone flat on the countertop, so the camera is shooting straight at the roof. And so I'm just seeing her come across the screen like it looks like a cow that's mooing. And she has it on mute, and all I see is like the tip of her head just waving back and forth going.
Anyway, we get through that.
Yep, I rush home.
Gets home.
Yep. And then I get home, I blow up the tub because, well, no, I get home and then we call Julie.
And we kind of described the situation.
Right. We talked to her and we said, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what's happening. Here's where we're at. Here's where we think we're at. Here's what Chelsea's feeling.
And she goes, well, it sounds like I should come over.
Yeah. So she
and I was like, what?
She starts heading this way and I blow up the
birth
pool, tub, whatever. It really gets down to business.
Yeah.
I started baking monkey bread.
Oh, yeah. Can't miss out on that. There was just weird cravings that I had during labor. A lot of times in the hospital, this is one deal breaker that really made me want to be at home, was also not being able to eat, because during labor there's misconceptions that you could, like, eating could interfere with you laboring. Women need energy to labor. I was hungry.
Good old monkey bread.
We made monkey bread. Nick made monkey bread, and I ate it in the pool. You could probably tell in the birth video that I was eating something. That's what I was eating. And it was so good. And I think it kept your mind kind of off of things.
It just kind of helped me distract. Oddly enough, I have the kid now, and I'm solely responsible for his well-being and his existence and his nourishment and all of his bills. But oddly enough, even talking about the story, just like right now, even talking about this story of the birth gives me more anxiety post-birth than even having the kid does now. There's just so much that goes into a birth that's like, you're frantic, you don't know what's gonna happen, you're like
But you were at peace during
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
time
I mean,
as
very
well.
much at peace, but like, leading up to it, you just like don't know what's gonna
true.
happen. You hope for the best, but you don't know.
You
and
felt
so
that way.
All of these things are like rushing through my heart and mind. And then day of comes and we're just, it's just like a big hang. It's just like we had a bunch of friends over and then we had one friend join in at the
Not
very
exactly.
end.
That's your perspective, but
yeah, it's like we had Julie, Janelle, me, and you, and then we had one more friend join us at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think you were more so stressed out, like the spontaneity of going into labor.
Yeah.
Like me telling you, this is it, and you're like, oh, I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, you're just rushing all of a sudden because you're so chill. You're in gear 2, and then all of a sudden you have to be in gear 10, like right now. There's no waiting right now. we have to do it right now.
Yeah.
And then you start getting deeper into labor, and you're moving all around the house, and you're leaning over on the bar stool, and then you're, you know, over in the living room. And then when they put you on the couch, man, oh my Jesus. When they put you on that couch, you were screaming. You were in pain.
So there were several positions that we tried, and my midwife did not get there until I was pretty progressed.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that portion. I won't mention her, well...
Name, it's fine.
But, and this is totally not her fault. This is just the weirdness of birthing children as a job, which I could never do and don't want to do. But I'll happily come preach your event.
Okay,
Sorry.
Nick.
No, so Julie pulls me aside because her and Janelle, the midwife, work really close together. And she says, Janelle got called to another birth. So she's there right now. But she's going to try to come over here too.
But I didn't know this at the time.
Yeah, because we don't want Chelsea to freak out. So she's totally in the dark on this.
But I had asked about that specific woman because she was in my birth class with me. I said, hey, how's so-and-so? I know her due date is really close. And she's like, oh, you know, she's doing fine. She's really close. And that's all Julie told me.
Yeah, she was in labor, turns out. She was deep in labor too.
But
she wasn't progressing as fast as Chelsea was, though, unfortunately.
So Janelle actually left that birth, came to ours because...
But another midwife took over.
Right.
That.
She was taken care of, because that's the great thing about midwives is they're connected.
Friends.
They have a lot of different midwives to call up. So after we had labored a little bit around the house, there was I was laboring on the stool, moving back and forth, swaying my legs. It felt really great to be able to maneuver my body in the way that I wanted to. I was in and out of the pool. When I got in the pool first time, my contractions slowed down, which was very nice because I felt like I got a break. And for a while, you know, for several hours, I was feeling the same intensity, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit. And at that point, Nick had made the monkey bread. We were chilling a little bit, talking,
playing
which was nice.
island music. I thought this was going to be a Hillsong fest, but it turned out
I wanted some chill music.
Island music. So
but you said island music, and then something played that was not island. Anyway, you guys can go check out our doula notes on our birth vlog video. Julie wrote all the interesting things that happened that we might not mention in this video. So whenever Janelle had got here, which is my midwife, pretty dilated. We don't know exactly how dilated I was.
You were probably about 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Because she checked about an hour and a half to 2 hours later, and you were 8.
But there's an interesting story to that too. So whenever Janelle gets here, I'm on the couch, as you guys can see in the video, and really struggling on the couch because that position specifically on your side, lifted up with pillows propped between your legs, really intensifies the labor, and it really made me open up. So just from the couch alone, and even moving over to the toilet, we did some contractions on the toilet together.
Well, I wasn't contracting.
No, but Nick was there with me.
I was moral support. Yeah.
It progressed pretty fast, and one thing that really helped that Nick did was a lot of physical touch, because I'm a very physical touch person, but even more so in birth, it's just you want to get your mind off the pain that he was kissing my cheek and holding my hand and blowing the fan in my face and just trying to distract. And what would you say maybe about that process of something to say to guys or other people who are helping men through birth?
I think you just have to be present, and you just have to, I think listening to your wife is going to be the biggest thing that you can do in this process, because you don't know what they're feeling. You have no clue what they're feeling. You're only able to pick up cues and get an idea of kind of where they're at. You can get an idea of when they come down. One thing I learned pretty early on, Julie didn't even have to tell me this, is that when Chelsea is in active contractions, don't even talk, because she's not hearing a thing that you're saying or that I'm saying. Yeah, so in those breaks between the contractions, that's kind of when you have your little, huddle up coaching session and say hey, you want some water? Do you want a fan?
And usually I don't even really speak much. You just kind of do it. But the things that helped me that you did was, a lot of physical touch, even just us taking a break to kiss, which is crazy. But you can look into the psychology of that during birth. It actually helps a lot with pain because it releases endorphins. So that was helpful. And then there was a moment where a lot of labor, it was nice to hold his hand, but there were certain points where I just needed to hold the tub. When I was about to have Hudson, I did not want to hold his hand because I knew I would grab it off.
Well, you were for
a bit.
Yeah.
And then he would also do this thing, I don't know the name of it, but it was in our birth class. I think it was mimicking, where you would blow out air with me, and then
Oh,
we
yeah.
would pace together.
I constantly had to tell Chelsea to breathe, controlled,
Yeah.
slow, nice, big, deep breaths.
And that's the biggest thing that helped me.
Stay calm. Like, just stay calm.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes what would happen is that in a contraction, she would just squeeze, 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 and then just tight, tense, and real hard. And then there's no breathing. And so what happens is after the contraction, you spend that whole break going, trying to get your breath.
About to get into another one.
And then when you go into another one, you're already spent. And so we were just saying, keep it nice, like.
It's easy for him to say
Yeah.
that you do that, but in the
No,
moment,
I can't imagine.
you do want to listen to that, but there are some points where you're just like, oh my gosh, I cannot match my body with what my mind wants to do.
Yeah.
But
I'd say you got an A- for sure.
yeah, thank you.
Hold on.
Baby's crying.
Oh,
I want to go see if he's good. So that was all very helpful, and I guess back into the story. When Janelle got here, she asked me, in the intensity of everything, there was a point where I thought my water broke, but really I was just like pushing so hard that I peed. But she asked me, hey, do you want me to check your cervix? And I was like, honestly, no, because if you're gonna do that, then I'm gonna get discouraged because I'm probably not as far along as I think I am, so let's just not. And then 5 minutes later, I asked her, hey, can you check me? Because
I mean, I just said, hey, if it's not encouraging,
then just don't tell
yeah,
me.
then we can just keep going. But if it is, then, that's a win. Yeah.
Because I want to be encouraged.
Yeah.
So she checked me, and she's like, well, good news. You're 8 centimeters dilated. I was like, oh, yeah.
Which,
we're in business.
I believe, I could be wrong on this, the women who are watching this, which is most of you, are going to know this better than I will, but isn't 8 centimeters when you go to the hospital and it's all hands on deck because now this is considered active labor?
I don't know the exact number, but I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that that's close to true. At least.
Yeah. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost fully dilated.
Yeah, fully dilated is
Yeah.
10. So
Yeah.
at that point, I didn't get an urge to push, but the contractions were so intense that I was ready to get back into the water. So I got back into the water. They slowed down just for a few minutes, and then they started picking back up. And as soon as they were really intense, I wanted to start pushing, but my body wasn't ready. And Julie told me, listen to your body. Let's not try to push this thing more than it needs
That's
to
how
be.
you get into trouble, tearing and...
Not just that, but overexerting yourself and getting really exhausted super early. So
yeah, I mean, at this point, we're getting ready to... So you took a little break. You probably took about a 45-minute lull. Not lull, but you took a 45-minute hiatus from trying to push. And you just kind of let it progress as it wanted to. And then it got to the point where you couldn't not push. I mean, it was just... You couldn't not push. You didn't have to try. Your uterus was saying, hey, all full send.
And pushing did feel good to feel like I was accomplishing something, but there was a point where really close to when he was about to crown, I was just like, how much longer is this gonna go? Because I don't know how much longer I can take this. But Janelle and Julie both said the moment that a woman says something like that, like, I can't do this, or this is getting too much, they're usually very close to giving birth.
It's like...
And so that was the case for me. And Hudson crowned, and that was the most probably painful part.
Yeah.
For sure. You could tell by the way I was breathing.
I mean, and your whole body, because I went around to see, because Chelsea at this point is on all fours if you watch the video.
Yeah.
So, well, not on all fours, but she's on her knees, and then she's leaned over the tub. And so I walk around to see him crowned, and you can see right there, it's like, whoa. And then she has this little mirror thing, and she kind of puts it under, and it reflects. No. So it reflects whatever's underneath Chelsea down onto the glass and then back up through the water. And so I could see his little forehead and all that stuff and all his hair. And then, so I come back around to the other side of the tub, and then I think you did 2 or 3 more. I mean, it was a 2 to 3 minute difference from the time you crowned to when he was born.
I think it was 3 pushes.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, Janelle was back there, cool as a clam, just minding her own business. And then Chelsea gives 1 big push, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, all right, it's probably gonna be another 10 or 15. Whew, we'll get ready, because this is happening really soon. He's gonna be here within 15 minutes. And I was like, Chelsea, just lean back and pick up your baby. And I'm like, And
well, there was that moment where I started crying and like grabbed him, and I was staring at Nick. You can't tell on the video.
No, because I just lean back. If you look in the video, I think you can see me like lean back, and this is what I do. I'm like that right there. I just like am in shock, like I'm in disbelief. This little alien thing is right in front of me, and Chelsea's staring at me like, dude, what the frick are you doing?
Yeah,
like, let's get it together, man. And so I like get up and in a daze, and I get up and I go sit around Chelsea, and super emotional moment.
So when he crowned right before he was born, Janelle and Julie were telling me to pace myself and to kind of like take it slow. They were saying like, hold it there, I know it's painful, because I was like shrieking and my whole body was shaking. And the last thing I wanted to do was hold it there. I was just like, I want this pain to be over. Like, let me just like push really hard and get him out. But they told me, pace yourself. You want to be able to use the contractions. Don't overexert yourself. And end result, I also didn't tear, which was one of like my prayers. And I know that was something that I couldn't promise.
And the reason they were saying that is because all that stuff has to stretch. I mean, you got this thing going south, and I mean it's I'm sure it takes your body a minute to like prepare. And so they were saying, you know, if you go too fast, then you're probably gonna you might not, it doesn't always happen, but there's a possibility that you're gonna pay for it on the other side of it.
And I was, again, I shared in the Q&A video that I was very much open to whatever happened in that process, because it was just all about getting Hudson out. But very grateful that didn't happen, because my recovery has been better because of it. But that was the most insane moment, is whenever I picked him up out of the water, and my eyes were so weepy I couldn't even really make out what he looked like at first. But then we just had moments to just look at him, and he cried a lot the first bit. I think he was just getting his lungs moved forward or whatever. And then in the bedroom, it was a super calm moment, because Hudson was starting to chill out, and Nick was cooking dinner, and the midwife and doula were getting me situated, setting up my bathroom for like postpartum care stuff, and that was really nice to have them there for a few hours.
And you and I prayed together. We prayed over Hudson. I spoke a verse over his life as his father. And it was a really, really beautiful moment, beautiful day.
Right. Our first night was hard. Our first few nights were hard.
Honestly, the nights are still hard. And but not near as hard as they were that first week. That whole first week, people were calling and texting, and they would text me at 10:15 in the morning, and I'm not getting back with them until 8:45 at night. And I mean, it's just that whole first week was a big blur. I don't even remember it.
Some nights like that are still a blur, because he'll go through bits of cluster feeding, or just like getting so fascinated with things that he just will not fall asleep, and we're still navigating all of that. And
does anyone else's babies stare at ceiling fans? Let me know. Because my baby is in the ceiling fan.
Loves the ceiling fan. But that's the story. We'll definitely share more things as we go along, but I think it was a pretty special day, and I think we probably won't appreciate it as much until even more time has passed, as we kind of like grow up and get to see him get older and everything, because we still are sleep deprived. We still are like figuring this thing out. Our laundry is piled high. Dishes are always in the sink.
Legitimately, before we did this video, I was sitting right there on the couch looking up maid services in Greenville, and Chelsea's like, all right, babe, I'm ready. Let's film this video, because we might only have 20 minutes to do it. So,
or 5 seconds.
That's our life right now. Glad that you're here for the journey. It's a whole deal. It's a whole bang.
Some of my pregnant friends who are still pregnant will text me and just say, man, it's just so hard. It's so hard to get through this last bit of pregnancy. And I'm like, girl, trust me, I know. But also, newborn stage is really hard as well. Yes, it's special and beautiful. And before I gave birth, I never wanted to listen to anything that said anything remotely negative or not positive about newborn experience. But it is hard, and it is beautiful. And one of our friends at a wedding we went to last night said, parenthood is more beautiful than you ever expected and more hard than you ever expected. And the same thing can be said about marriage. So it's just embracing it fully, I think. So
And I think with anything in life that's worth doing, and yeah, I mean, that's worth pursuing and that's worth sacrificing for. I think it always is more beautiful than you originally intended it to be or thought it would be. And it's always harder than you thought it would be too. And that's been the case for every worthwhile thing that we have ever done. That I've ever done personally, that probably you've ever done personally.
Together.
Yeah.
So, but we're really thankful we got to share that with you, and that video will probably be one of our favorites.
I'm so glad that we filmed, because that's one of those things that I'll be 57 one day and just sitting in my empty nest and I'll just turn on whatever my holographic TV system is in that time, a thing of the Iron Age, and you gotta buy it. Anyway, I'll sit on my couch and just weep. Yeah,
me too.
So film stuff. Film it. Even if you don't put it on YouTube, film it for you.
I think most people will never end up putting their birth on YouTube.
Memories fade, man. You remember a lot of it. I remember a lot of the day. But I'll even go back to that video now, just a month later, and I'll be like, oh yeah.
Remember that part?
Yeah, because your memory's not perfect. It's not a hard drive. So
Oh yeah.
I'm tired too.
I really need to take a nap. So we're gonna try to do that maybe while the baby sleeps.
Yep.
For 5 minutes. But let us know if you guys have any more questions, or if you just have any specific requests about this whole thing, because I've had so many video ideas and so many things I want to do, but I just have zero energy to do it honestly right now. So we're just trying to give ourselves grace during this time and trying to adjust to this new normal, and then add on the old things that we used to have to do slowly. So
we'll get there.
But we love y'all. Thank you for joining in, and we're gonna go sleep.
Talk to you when I talk to you. I can't say for sure it's gonna be next week, but I hope it will be.